Hi, I'm Maple, your host, professional overthinker, and the person who just walked into a glass door she cleaned herself. Welcome to the show where we take big-brained ideas and make them dumber so we can actually use them. If you came here for hard science, I have bad news. I barely trust my own eyesight. But, today we're going to talk about why my total inability to see that glass door might actually be a feature, not a bug, of human and dog evolution. We're diving into a totally reality-bending paper by cognitive scientists Donald Hoffman, Manish Singh, and Chetan Prakash.
Today, interface theory of perception. It's Donald Hoffman's fancy way of saying evolution did not give you truth, it gave you a user interface. Now, we all kind of just assume natural selection favored seeing reality exactly as it is, right? Like over millions of years, our eyes and brains just got better and better at taking a high-def photo of the outside world. While Hoffman says nope. He says it favored seeing what keeps you alive long enough to reproduce, even if that's a complete lie. Basically, your brain is running Windows 95 and calling it the universe.
To really wrap your head around this, think about desktop icons. You see a little blue folder, you drag it to the trash, you feel super smart. But what's actually happening down there? You absolutely do not see the magnetic domains on a hard drive. You don't see the binary code or the voltage spikes. And thank goodness you don't, because if you did, if you were literally forced to perceive the objective reality of that computer's raw source code, you'd go insane and never send an email. Hoffman says our perception of the entire world works exactly like that. So let's look at nature's operating system for a second. When you're out on a hike, a snake isn't some long, scaly truth made of interacting quantum fields. To your brain, it's a red flashing, do not touch icon. A ripe piece of fruit? It isn't photons bouncing around at 650 nanometers, it's an eat me button. Evolution literally doesn't care if the snake is really there in some objective, mind-independent reality, it cares if you run. Fitness beats veridical, which is really just a fancy academic word for truthful, every single time. Because, think about it, the organism that sees the pretty, accurate truth about a tiger gets eaten while admiring its stripes.
Now you're probably thinking, okay, Maple, but surely seeing the truth has some survival value. Well, the math nerds ran the simulations on this. They set up these evolutionary games and genetic algorithms where different perceptual strategies had to battle it out for resources. On one side, you've got realist strategies, agents perfectly tuned to see the true state of the world. On the other side, you have interface strategies. The result? Agents tuned to truth consistently lose to agents tuned to fitness payoffs. Every time. It wasn't even close. So your color vision, your depth perception, your feeling that time flows forward, all of it is a hack, not a window.
Let's look at the math on why this happens. Notice how survival payoffs map out on a bell curve. Imagine a resource, like water. Too little water, you die of thirst. Too much water, you drown. The fitness payoff is highest right smack in the middle of that curve. But the objective truth of the water is just its strict quantity, going from 0 to 100. A realist strategy tries to see that exact quantity. But an interface organism, it just sees the payoff. Bad, good, bad. Maybe by coloring them red and blue. Turns out, tuning your brain to exclusively see that fitness peak, rather than the objective reality, is ridiculously efficient for survival. It basically proves that what we assume is a clear window into reality is actually just a highly filtered heads-up display.
And honestly, this explains so much. We experience real-world interface bugs all the time. I mean, it explains why we think our ex was perfect right up until we see the screenshots. It explains why thousands of people spend days arguing on the internet about whether a dress is blue or gold. It's just because our brains are rendering different custom graphics based on underlying assumptions that helped our ancestors survive. And frankly, it explains why I keep dating people who are clearly error messages in human form. My interface saw a shiny icon and just clicked it without reading the terms and conditions.
So here is the somewhat politically incorrect part. If perception is just an interface, then lived experience is not reality either. It's just your personal custom skin pack. Seriously, think about it. Everyone is walking around with these custom HUDs optimized for their specific niche, their background, their survival needs, and then we all go out into the world screaming that ours is objective. We constantly mistake our biologically useful icons for absolute reality. Guys, that's not science. That is marketing. We are out here marketing our specific survival hacks as universal facts.
Naturally, this leads to a pretty terrifying question. Does this mean nothing is real? Are we just floating in a void of nothingness? No, don't panic. Hoffman actually thinks there is an objective world out there. If you bump your head into a glass door, reality definitely bites. We just don't get the source code for it. We get icons. The trick is simply remembering that the icon is not the file. We need to stop worshiping our perceptions and start asking what payoff they were actually built for. Don't take your interface literally, but you absolutely have to take it seriously. Like, if you see a cliff edge, please don't walk off it just because it's technically an icon.
Quick break to update my interface. If you like me ruining your sense of reality before lunch, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, or a 1-star that says she's hallucinating. Both help. Send this to that friend who says, I just tell it like it is. No, Brad. You tell it like your interface renders it.
So yeah, interface theory. Let's wrap this up with the final diagnostics. Evolution gave you a dashboard, not a telescope. A telescope is designed to let you see the stars exactly as they are, in all their objective glory. A car dashboard? It's just designed to keep you from crashing. It shows you a cute little red oil can so your engine doesn't explode. It definitely doesn't show you the complex thermodynamics of internal combustion. Use it, don't trust it. It keeps you alive, but please don't blindly assume it gives you the fundamental truth of the universe.
Massive thanks to my producer, FireflyHaku, who still thinks reality has a dark mode toggle and has been clicking on clouds trying to open the settings menu for 3 years. I'm Maple. Go touch grass. Just remember, the grass is probably just a green icon for go outside. See you next time.